You know what? As soon as I heard Tamar Braxton and The Real, I said, Tamar Braxton and The Real. This tea is like 2 years old, right? So, of course, I just swiped left and kept it pushing until my folks said, no, no, slow down. And I'm glad I did. Tamar Braxton, The Real, and The Breakfast Club. Yeah, had to slow the car down for a minute. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. Here's a little episode of In My Travels. Like I said, my folks, you all that I love so much, came and said, slow that car down, honey. There's some shit going down on these streets. The girls from The Real went on to the Breakfast Club. They sat in with Angela and Charlemagne and DJ Envy Chow and just started spilling their guts about everything. They got to talk about Jenny's divorce and this, that, thing, and the other. And again, I was like, okay, whatever. Then they started talking about this whole thing about Tamar. You all remember 2 years ago when she got fired from The Real and her ass was all embarrassed, and she literally hasn't spoken to these girls. Like, allegedly they have not spoken to her in this whole 2 years. So it's like this whole thing of like, well, why are they even mentioning her name? But it is what it is, because they have stayed to that point that they didn't have anything to do with her getting fired. They haven't done anything to Tamar. So when she started, I'm following them and all of this, and they were being implemented and being drugged about it. If I was them, I probably would have took the stance that I didn't want to speak with her because everybody knows her. She's messy as hell. So I probably would have been mad at her knowing me. But anyway, so they go on and they were talking about it. And Loni took the floor. Loni is always, she's the mouth, honey. And she got to telling the story about when it all first went down, and this is where the tea dropped, baby. I said, woo, my cup runneth over, honey. She said right after the firing took place, she said, we didn't, her story hasn't changed. Her story has not wavered at all. We didn't know nothing about what was going on. I had a plane ride with Towanda Braxton. Said I was sitting right behind Towanda, and Towanda said to her, we just got called in to do an emergency taping for the Braxton Family Values. And you definitely need to see that. You need to see that episode. So she was incensed, giving her a heads up that some shit was getting ready to come down the pike. Now, what she didn't know is that Loni actually had a friend at WeTV. She contacted her friend. Her friend let her, I hope the friend don't get in trouble, but the friend let her see the episode, honey, before it actually aired or anything. And in that episode, supposedly, Vince and Tamar were implementing the girls, but they were calling names, and it was more so Loni's name that was being thrown around there. That they were basically the reasons that Tamar was being fired. This is what was going to be blasted across WeTV on the show. Well, Loni immediately contacted her lawyer and started to kind of get the ball rolling for, if this is what's going to happen, then there's going to be a suit, of defamation. And all of them sat there and said, baby, our pay grade ain't even that high, baby. We have no power down to The Real. We still have no power down to The Real like that. Our pay grade still ain't that high, and that was 2 years ago. I was like, I believe that. Now that I believe that. I said, wow. But that's Muppet Baby's thing, honey. She believes in the blame game, honey. So I said, okay, well, I'm kind of believing Loni in this little thing. And Loni actually even went all the way in with the whole thing of telling how she was actually at Tamar's house. Before she got fired, she was at Tamar's house, and Tamar asked her to give her the phone number of a manager friend of hers because she was going to switch management, and even threw some shade toward Vince when he went out the room about him managing her and working her career. So, really, if we're friends like that, Tamar, really, and then you go on WeTV and throw me under the bus, well, at any rate, it was said that, once Loni's lawyer got involved, WeTV did some cuts and some more shoots, and they, kind of changed up the blatantness of that episode. But it was still, and we seen it, it was still basically linked toward the fact that the girls had something to do with Tamar being fired. We all seen it, honey. So now let's go to present day. Now Tawanda that took her ass up on IG, and she is denied giving Loni the heads up, and basically um, has accused Loni of trying to cause dissension and turmoil between her and her sister. And she's just basically trying to get in front of the eight ball because she know how petty her goddamn sister is. But me personally, do I believe? I believe every goddamn word Lonnie said this time. I really do. There's been times when I've questioned things that Lonnie has said out of her mouth, but this time I definitely, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but down in my crawl, I believe every goddamn word that Lonnie is saying. What do you all think, honey? Leave it in the comments, and I'll see y'all in a bit. Thank y'all so much for making me slow the car down. This was pretty goddamn tasty.